Hi, Jen Gilchrist here with another weekly intuitive insights and inspiration oracle card reading to help you align with the current energies. And for those of you that are new to me, I work with intuitive, empathic, highly sensitive people who have gone through some level of spiritual awakening. Perhaps you've had a transition in your life, maybe recently, maybe a while ago, and you're still really aligning with that higher truth of who you are and who you want to become, your higher purpose and calling. And so this is really going to support you in really aligning with that higher path. And so I'm going to start with just pulling a few cards and seeing what wants to come through. And this is the Mermaid Oracle. Sometimes has more of an emotional, watery feel, but who knows? We'll see what comes through today. I love this deck for sure. All right, so the first card that's coming through is telepathy, nonverbal communication, energetic pulses, mind reading. So this is very interesting, right now, actually, and I'll talk more about this at the end, but I'm just, getting prepared to lead a free 4-day series where we activate a lot of your spiritual gifts, and your telepathic communication is one of them. So you might be interested in joining me for that. And this really feels like for a lot of you, it could for two things. Trust the wisdom that's coming through in your mind almost, right? If it's new for you, I feel like you're opening up more to your telepathic channels, which is your ability to hear your own inner voice. It's your ability to hear your spirit guides. And it's also sometimes on a more staticky level can be where you also hear a lot of other people's information, like other people that have, human beings, right? And that can create a lot of confusion or kind of mind spin as well. So wherever you're at with that, first and foremost, I feel like the message is to trust if you're feeling like those little inner nudges or voices, or you're kind of like, wow, this is new, trust those impulses, because that feels like you're awakening more to your intuition. And for some of you, I feel like there's also a need to be clearing out your energy and to clear out your energy field. If you're already aware that you are telepathic or that your gifts are open in that way, or maybe you're just awakening to this, but yet you feel very overwhelmed by them. All of that's very common as well. But it feels like there's a lot of like energetic highway busyness happening in your telepathic channels, some of which is important for you to pay attention and listen to, and others can just be noise. And that would be, the difference is going to be, is it coming from love or fear? Right? If it's coming from the space of really clear, short, small action steps or encouragement, like that feels more a healthy aspect of this. And then for some of you, if you've just tuned out or numbed out or feel overwhelmed, you might be very aware and sensitive to other people's judgments and opinions of you as they're coming through those telepathic channels. And you might mistake that as your own, or your own ego's fears and doubts even could be very loud. So this just feels like, pay attention to that, because you're not crazy, right? It's a thing. And for a very small portion, if you resonate with like the twin flame soulmate journey situation, it could be very much that this is a connection of, because I just see that more as an intuitive read for some people, that is coming in as well, where you're connecting into that higher energy, and that could be working for you or against you as well, depending on where you're at in that journey. But we can have telepathy with everyone. I used to have this a lot with my clients, and sometimes I knew it, sometimes I didn't know it initially, but I would be speaking to their conversation of what they were thinking in their mind, asking them questions that was coming to me, or I'd be aware, when I was doing hairdressing, I would be aware of like, oh, it's too hot or too cold. And then they'd say it out loud, or I don't know, just different things where sometimes we are getting those blippets, and that can work for us or against us if we're not paying attention. So the next one says time out. I love this, seahorse. Awareness, contemplation, solitude, time alone. So making time and space. And so because, for the general message, I think that's probably for everybody. It's about clearing out your energy, clearing out the chatter, clearing out the noise. Some of it's your energy, some of it's other people's energy, and just make sure that you're taking time for that quiet respite, because that is where you get clearer about what does your soul's voice even sound like? What is the voice of your voice, or God, source, your angels, guides? Like, what is that voice? Because it's quieter than the mind and the ego and the static that you might be tapped into. And so this is really important. And it feels like there's important messages coming to you or wanting to come to you that maybe you haven't been making enough space for. So make sure you take that time. Alternatively, I'm also seeing about spending time in water could be very healing, whether it's literally in the ocean, taking a salt bath, being in water can be healing. So that kind of leads me to self-care. Right. So making sure that you're not overdoing it and that you have some time for rejuvenation. All right. Sacrifice. There are those worth making and those that will destroy you. It just feels like you are coming to this very clear awareness, and perhaps it's been a pattern, really, maybe a generational pattern, a personal pattern, karmic pattern that you have probably been being guided to pay attention to through the last month or 2 or 3 or however long, right? Maybe even a lifetime, right? But I feel like it's been coming to the forefront of where you're recognizing where you may have been sacrificing yourself in a way that's to your detriment, right? Whether that's time, that's energy, that's putting more attention on people that aren't really reciprocating into that imbalance. So it feels like for some, it's like recognizing codependency, or where you are feeling like the victim and kind of becoming the martyr energy, because that's really giving your power away. And I feel like you're aware of this, but and there's just this level of like, you're not going to be able to keep doing that without really numbing and pulling the wool over your eyes. It'll eventually snap back, but I feel like you're having a deeper awareness of where you have been sacrificing yourself in the big ways and the little ways, and that's where this like quiet time is really, reflective time is really important, so that you can find that alignment and make decisions to continue to be even in deeper integrity with your relationships, with your conversations, with your choices, with how you spend your own time and energy, with whom you spend your time and energy. Like there's a lot of, coming into being honest with yourself, really. And being honest with yourself does come back to this card in the sense that part of your throat chakra ability is your telepathic. It is about communication and, bringing in information and all of that. But it's also where you get to tap into and really tune into the voice of your own soul and really start to be honest with the places that you maybe haven't been acting in integrity, or maybe in some ways being self-sabotaging to who you truly are and who you want to be, and what you want to experience. Maybe you've been giving more than you're receiving, or different things like that. The specific patterns and situations will be different for each person, but just kind of throwing it out there to pay attention to. And then another card, makes perfect sense. So this last card that wanted to come through is stepping into your power. You are strong beyond measure. So this is like just a validation card to keep going. It might be about lighting your own way, forging a new path. It's also definitely about taking your power back. Taking your power back from people, from situations. And, we can shackle ourselves, let me tell you, to your own work schedule or life schedule, habits, addictions, things like that. So it could be any number of things that you have been like calling yourself out of, so that you can be more in alignment and more in integrity with who you truly are and who you want to be and who you're becoming. The opportunities, right? The opportunities there, but it's always, we have free will of choice. It's all about our choices. What choices are we going to be making? Are they in alignment with a higher truth? Are they in integrity with who we are? Are they in integrity with our values? Or are they acting against ourselves in a level of self-betrayal on some level? And I'm also hearing for some people could be self-punishment cycles, right? Self-sabotaging cycles as well. So this is about taking your power back. It's about going your own way. It's about lighting a path forward, even though it can feel scary. And this is where it really is super important and powerful to be in community with other people who really understand what you're going through. Because when you're going through any level of awakening, and we have more than one, our initial one can be quite jolting, which a lot of people find me then. But we continue to have them, going deeper and deeper into living your life into that integrity and into that alignment. It's not for the faint of heart. It's to me, it's more difficult to not do that, because once you have these awarenesses, you can't just ignore them. At the same time, it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, it takes courage and it takes commitment. And so going, not being alone and surrounding yourself in a community is going to be very supportive, as well as you continue to step into your path, into the unknown. It can challenge and be scary to the ego's mind, which could also be your own ego chatter coming through loudly, which is where it's important to take that quiet time and really release any of those victim or disenabling or disempowering situations you might have going on, so that you can really continue to move forward. And the illumination of the clarity is there. Your spirit team is there. Your higher self is there. God, source, universe is there guiding you. And so it's really important to recognize that. And it is that validation. I'll speak again at the bottom of the card that says you're stronger beyond measure. So you are much more capable than you even realize. So keep leaning into that and leaning into that community and support. So with that, I'd love to invite you to my live free 4-day activation series to amplify your clairvoyance, channeling, and healing abilities. But it's so much more than that. It's definitely about cultivating your spiritual gifts. But it's also about understanding yourself. It's about going through an awakening. It's about connecting with your spirit team, developing your intuition, aligning with your higher truth, your higher path, and especially as an empath and sensitive, to not be so overwhelmed and inundated like I feel like many of you are with your gifts, and potentially specifically in this case, your telepathic energy. That's really important, to really learn how to not be that sponge, but instead be able to recognize and clear out everybody else's energy so that you can make decisions based on what you truly want and who you truly are in a way that feels really good and lights up your soul. Because we're really meant to experience abundance in all forms, including our peace, our joy, our happiness, and also the lifestyle and what it is we want to experience. And through that, naturally, people in my community tend to also want to be of service in the world in some form as well, right? You will be that inspiration for others as you walk this higher path for yourself. So that is what I have for you. I'll place that information below. I would love to see you there. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and have a great rest of your day or evening. All right, bye for now.